I reviewed the S10 Plus, which gets all of Samsung's latest top-of-the-line features including 2 front cameras, 3 rear cameras, a massive screen and in-display fingerprint reader. Overall, the S10 is a worthy successor to the Galaxy S line, and a handset every Android phone fan should consider. The S10 and S10 Plus both sport the company's new Infinity O screens, with curved edges that cascade over their left and right sides. The screens have even been stretched out more vertically so that they nearly touch the phone's top and bottom edges. The S10e, meanwhile, has a flat display, and while the edge screens of the S10 and S10 Plus make for a unique look, I actually prefer the S10e's aesthetic. It sounds counterintuitive, but giving the screen a defined border around its edges makes it stand out more. With their screens taking up real estate on the front of the phones, the S10e, S10 and S10 Plus had no room for their front cameras. So Samsung cut a hole in the phone's displays, hence the Infinity O moniker. Thankfully, the punch-outs are positioned high enough on the phone to ensure that they don't interfere with on-screen content. Samsung's new screens also use an improved panel technology the company calls Dynamic AMOLED. The change increases the brightness of the display for outdoor viewing and makes it HDR+ compatible. HDR+, of course, is Samsung's proprietary HDR standard. Samsung says the new screens also emit less blue light, which can impact users' sleep patterns. Is the display a winner? Yes. This is the Samsung we're talking about. They've been producing some of the best smartphone displays for years, and the S10's panel is no different. One thing Samsung actually removed from the S10 line was the company's rear fingerprint reader. Positioned next to the back camera on the S9 and Note 9, the reader was difficult to distinguish from the rear camera, making it a pain to unlock your handset. So Samsung has developed an in-screen ultrasonic fingerprint reader for the S10 and S10 Plus. The S10e gets a fingerprint reader built into its power button. To use the ultrasonic reader, you need to ensure that you place your finger over the exact part of the display for the reader to recognize your print, which takes some getting used to since there's no physical landmark to guide your digit. An on-screen image of a fingerprint helps, but there's nothing you can feel to ensure you're in the right spot. More often than not, the reader on the S10 Plus was able to detect my fingerprint, but there were a few occasions when it said my finger wasn't a match, or that I wasn't pressing down hard enough on the screen. Samsung said that this may be an issue with the software running on my device, which should be updated for general consumers. With most of today's smartphones offering similar features, manufacturers are increasingly turning to their devices' cameras to help differentiate them from the competition. For Samsung, that means adding a third camera to the back of the S10 and S10 Plus and a second camera to the front of the Plus. The S10e gets 2 rear cameras and a single front lens. The Pixel 3's standard shooting mode made low-light photos look muddy, but when I switched to the handset's night sight feature, my shots came out incredibly bright. It's still the best way to take low-light photos, but you also have to stay very still to get a decent image. Battery life is equally impressive. I kept the S10 Plus running for well more than a day with a single charge. And thanks to its two-way wireless charging, you can use the S10 to charge your other devices like, say, an iPhone. The S10 Plus is a heck of an Android-powered smartphone. It's sleek, has a beautiful new display and truly fantastic camera when shooting in most lighting situations. That ultra-wide-angle lens can't be beat, either. I'm a fan of the in-display fingerprint reader, but wish it was more consistent. In short, Android fans have a new favorite smartphone on their hands. But don't expect it to convert many iPhone lovers. More from Dan, email Daniel Howley at Dowley@, follow him on Twitter at Daniel Howley. Follow News Pulse Finance on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and